Okay, one can only hope that this works. Hold on. Oh. Of course, I come in completely unprepared. I was actually working until the exact down minute, the exact minute of having to start, right down to the wire. So now I have to go in, to sound check myself here. Everything appears to be in order with no major crap ups, but I don't know. This technology is beyond me. I can learn the Linux terminal, but I can't learn social media. And that's why we fail. Give me 1 second, audience. Let's take a look here. Did it work? Learn social media. All right. And I did that maybe in 47 seconds. You know, a real streamer would be able to just know that he's live right off the top of his head here and everything like that. I don't even have my headphones set up. I don't have my main camera set up. As a matter of fact, at least the headphones are out and connected. I at least thought that far ahead. You know, if I look down here right now, like my paintbrushes and tools are not in the right order on my desk. This table that I work on is covered in fucking dust. I even have a dust busting gun. It's covered in dust. It's not a clean, sanitized, scientific streamer environment like we're about to see today and everything. Oh, God. Uh-oh. Let's see here. I got a trade. There we go. That goes there. I don't want to dump my pot here, my pot full of water. So, now that Zed is here, the party can begin. I just have to go into my audio settings. Oh, that's not it. Oh, great. Of course not. Sound settings. There we go. Please open. There we go. Now I have to go into... I think it's here. All right. I got to do a quick sound check real quick so that because we're going to be watching a lot of videos. We're going to be doing a lot of A-logging today. And like I said, I was working on this crap right until the very, very end of the wire. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Please tell me if you can hear the PC audio, simply because I want you to get to know this sound. This is going to be important. You need to know this sound. Do you notice that that has a certain cadence? It has a certain cadence. It doesn't sound like a human being. And I've discovered something on my journey this week. And life's a journey. That's what it is. But if you notice this noise, notice this noise. That's exactly what we're going to be hearing today, okay? That's exactly what we're going to be hearing. A lot of this, just get to this. Now, some of my older audience members will notice that that comes from Charlie Brown. If you've ever watched The Peanuts, that's what the adults sound like. The adults in the room all sound like this. Sounds like aliens, right? I know. Aliens have invaded the hobby. They've taken over the hobby spaces, and now they're making slop content enhanced with AI to control your brain into thinking that the hobby is fun, into thinking that you want to be a hobbyist, into thinking that you can go on to do things inside of the hobby, and it's just a loving, safe environment. And you're going to get a lot of this today. They sound like aliens, people. They're demons. All right, I made a 40-second MP3 of that. All right, now I want you to go. We're going to go over here to the first I'm overwhelmed. I need an assistant on Sundays. I legit need an assistant on Sundays. I can't deal. Like I was down here 7:45 exactly, just after my mornings. Okay, I can close that, and then I can go over here. I don't need to exit that terminal. Okay, there we go. I need to have my control panel up, for screen cap so I can make myself tiny and shit. We're going to go over here to this first video. Okay. Now, the first person that we're going to be talking about today is Chaos Lord Beard from Tabletop Tactics. And this guy, he came over, I guess he got fired. He was fired! He couldn't cut the mustard because Tabletop Tactics isn't making enough money. So they had to trim some fat around there. Lawrence of Tabletop Tactics is broke. He's not making any more money. And so he had to let 2 people go. They said it was an amicable separation. So you have 2 people who left Tabletop Tactics to go solo. And what I want to know is, how much money can you make on YouTube as a content producer with less than 120,000 subs, actual subs? Because when I look at sub count, and the Kino boys allude to this, there are a lot of content producers that allude to sub count doesn't mean shit. Because they've been taking apart the quartering, who's been botting the hell out of his channel and everything with engagement, not to mention buying advertising and everything like that. And if you're a privileged gentry elite like the quartering who's never had to work a day in his fucking life, that fat motherfucker came from wealth. Just like Hassan Piker came from wealth. Just like I'll even attack Razor Fist here a little bit. Comes from a little bit of money. He got to work on whatever he wanted to work on. He's never really ever had to hold a real job. Working at GameStop in the comic book store is not a real job. I'd hate to have to be the bearer of bad news, Razor Fist. Yes, I might be coming for you one day. It is not a real job. Now, one thing he does better than I do, he has better fluent Japanese, and people actually like him. Whereas I am an aberration of abomination. Nobody likes me. That's okay. I can live with that. Just like Alex Jones, but he's lovable. There you go. He's got that. Everybody, I can't relate to anybody. Nobody relates to me, and I think that's why I come off the wrong way. That's why we're here on My Penis is Dry podcast. All right. So here we go. We're going to go into this one, and we're just going to listen to her talk for a minute. Okay. Now, this is Katie Plays 40K. She's gotten... my guess is that a lot of the bigger content producers are hurting for money, which reminds me, shout out to Cornate Gaines. He's talked about the Ravage Star video coming up short and everything. And Ravage Star was a project by Mini Wargamings, and it did not get delivered at or shipped as promised. He's made a video about that on Instagram. We'll get into that a little bit later. But my guess is that Mini Wargaming disappeared some of the money from the Ravage Star project to pay themselves because, you got what? 250,000 subs, of which I will say 140,000 of those subs are absolutely real. They are absolutely real. And however many Vault members they have, it's a very spurious number. I don't know off the top of my head. They have a website. You join their vault. You get exclusive content from them as long as you pay them. My guess is when you have 2 guys who run a company and they both have a family of 4 to 5 or 4 to 6, there's only so much money to be milked over the years before you just kind of run out of money. All right? Raising a family in Canada sucks, especially with the increased prices and everything like that. And, none of these guys strike me as the type that would pay off their mortgage immediately. They still pay rent on a building. They still pay a staff to help them out and everything. And they still pay have the presenter thing and the whole YouTube spiel that goes with that. And when you have a saturated market, there are a lot of big heavy hitters in the miniature field today doing what I call the content, or some of them are just flat out making slop content. And You know, you got Tabletop Tactics over there in the UK. You got Mini Wargaming over there in Canada. They're competitors. They're competitors. They're not allies. They're competitors. They're both competitors competing for the same amount of pay piggies to keep their life going at a steady pace. The vibe that I get from the Mini Wargamer guys is that they were not rich to begin with. That is true. But Lawrence of Tabletop Tactics was, just like SNN Battle Reports. They come from a little bit of money. They've never really had to struggle or bend over and pick something up in their own house, ever, in their entire sad existence. I'm not saying it's sad, but in the case of SN Battle Reports, yes, that Pardo is sad. He's sad, pathetic, weak. So let's go over here, and I just want you to listen to her talk, okay? I'm going to make myself tiny. That's first and foremost, all right? Oh, God, it's a goblin with pink hair. They're demons, people. They're demons. They're aliens. And I want you to listen to this. Let me get my MP3 ready again. All right, we're ready. We're going to play the video. Let me minimize that again. We're ready, and we're going to hit play.
Whatever I want. So if you want to create a horde of your own but find the prospect of painting hundreds of miniatures very overwhelming, let me introduce you to my scheme. I've been using this scheme for the last 3 years now, and I've been on everything from my Termagants to my Hierophant, and it has never once made me want to stop painting. So today I'm going to walk you through it and show you exactly how I paint High Fleet Leviathan, working on a Termagant, because if it works on the infantry, it's going to work on everything. I'm going to break it down into 3 elements. You've got the skin, the carapace, and the weapons. But before we can get started, you need your paints, you need your brush.
That Tyranid looks like shit, by the way. That's just me. I mean, I don't know if it was me or if somebody else didn't notice that. It does. I mean, notice how all the Citadel shit's getting lined up. Then there's some war paints in there, you know. A lot of these videos are the exact fucking same. Just let me go into chat for a second here. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain type. There's a certain type, okay? Yeah, Lawrence gives me the impression that his parents have money. Noon wants to look less than, what is that? Less like a mid. Oh, yeah, she's a fucking 2, man. Okay, you go over here, man. You look at this. You had the pink hair, the septum piercing. Those are all fucking warning signs. Once I see a septum piercing on a girl, it's pretty much over. Like, no, it's a no-go. But let's just keep listening to this for a second, because
brushes, especially some dry brushes, and you need your miniature. Once you've got all that ready, let's go. What
I want to know is, why do they always flash the miniature? It's gray, and then they go to the painted one, you know. I know this person can paint, but you look at I want you to look at the background. Look at the background. There's nothing human about the background. It's all that streamer Twitch bullshit in the background there. There's nothing real going on. People bash me like, oh, you look like a 12-year-old with your posters in your background there. I'm doing this in my basement, okay? I'm doing this in my basement like a human being, not an alien. And wait a minute, according to the incels, it's my grandma's basement because I live with my grandma. You know how many times I get told by my haters I live with my grandma? If I was living with my grandma, she would literally have to be 110 years old. Okay, my grandma was born in 1918. She would be 110.
Okay, so we're going to start with the skin first, and this is the messiest section, but also the most satisfying. So I'm going to start with this white bone primer from Colourforge. You really want to make sure you get this bit right. You want good coverage on the miniature because we're only going to be doing a wash.
All right, so I don't know if she's reading. Okay, so the formula is you go on you make your YouTube video. You notice how there's absolutely no dips or I don't know, misgivings in her speech, misspoken words. There's no slip-ups in her speech. And I'm sitting here thinking, yes, you can. There's a number of tools out there, and all these content producers, I think, are guilty of using things like HeyGen. That's Heygen. Heygen is an AI tool that'll enhance your speech. It'll enhance your videos. It'll do self-edits and enhance everything as you read from the teleprompter. You notice how she's right there in the shot? Let me make myself just a little bit smaller. You'll see her in the shot because you have to have a human being talking on YouTube for X amount of time for the algorithm to not think it's AI. If you're making AI videos, which this is partly an AI video, nobody speaks that accurate and concise of an English. I am a good speaker, but I am not like, I'd say I'm a 2 out of 5 compared to Razor Fist's 4 out of 5. He can go, but he also does the whole teleprompter thing. And I know that for his production videos, when he's sitting there talking in black and white, he might be using Adobe Premiere. He might be using Descript. He might be using Heygen to enhance it, to make it just flow. All right, and fire on all cylinders. And you got the shitty background music. Oh, we got a flow, we got a vibe here, and it just goes, and it keeps going. It keeps going on this, and then you show the picture of the miniature
and a dry brush, but don't rush it. We don't want to end up with fuzzy miniatures at this stage. The first wash is going to be Caribou Crimson. You want to get this all over the skin. This is what gives it that fleshy pink undertone, but don't put it on too.
Okay, again, how many times have I seen this? How many times have I fucking seen this on a YouTube video? This makes me, okay, they're in the wash phase, okay? They're in the wash phase. Nobody washes their miniatures this way. Nobody takes the tiniest fucking brush. Nobody takes the tiniest fucking brush for the first coat on the wash. They're either going to use an airbrush, which you can do very easily if you have an Iwata. And no, look at this. That's a size fucking 0. That is a size 1 or a... Let me see here. I got this brush right here. It's a size 2 from Vallejo. You can't see it because I don't have my main camera set up. But it's a size fucking 2 from Vallejo. Okay? And they always do this same fucking angle where they put the stupid miniature there and they got the tiniest brush and they're like, oh, you always want to be careful on the fucking skin and everything like that. Nobody paints this way. You will be forever and a day if you are painting this way. You will not get shit done. Now, if you're a jobless, UK-dwelling hobby goblin like she is, I guess you know you have all day to dick around with your one little fucking sanitized paint pot and your clean, neat, orderly desk to put wash on a miniature. Do you know how many fucking times in a tutorial I see people doing this fucking horse shit and it's just completely fake and gay? It's not indicative of actual miniature painting. I mean, you go into my Instagram, my last video last week was me just pointing at some orcs that I had piled up on the goddamn table that I had already blasted with my airbrush and was putting the finishing touches on by hand. Okay? Real man be able to do 85% of the model there. I am not yet at that point where I can do 85% of the model by airbrush. I still have to figure out this thing called shading. There's also enamel washes that my friend uses that puts him a full head above me when it comes to painting. But does anybody else notice this kind of shit in the slop? This is slop. This is what I call slop content. It's thrown together. Somehow this gets... just give me more, please. You know what I hate is how they don't show you the like count anymore. We're going to throw a dislike on this because fuck her. But, you know, I mean, they don't even show the like count. It's almost as if it was, like, generated by the AI itself. Let's continue for a second, and then I'll take some fucking comments from the audience about this. And if they see, if I'm not the only one seeing this, I got the smallest brush, and she's only going to wash the smallest area.
Too thick as it will pull, and that will still be visible under the dry brush.
Always the same fucking time lapse, okay? Like, no, people who are going to brush this, they're going to use a bigger one, okay? All of this down here, I mean, this is going to be purple. You're using a crimson wash to turn it pink before you dry brush with purple. I think that's purple on top, or it could be another one. Let's see what she does. Come on. Nobody does this. This is fucking horse shit. It's fake and gay, and I hate it.
And don't rush the drying time on this, because if we move on to the next step too quickly, it was going to...
Notice how they all have those big, yeah, that's called specialty painting. They always have those big fucking extra wide fucking miniature holders with the tack on it and everything that tells you that you can only do it that way. You can't grab the fucker with your hands, you know. I mean, I grab them all with my hands. I mean, if I was really like going into full production mode, they'd be on popsicle sticks. If I had 120 hoplites to do, there would be 3 at a time on a popsicle stick, because I've painted so many hoplites that I know that that's the max number that I can work and finish entirely, but I'd be interested to see how fast I could do it with my airbrush now.
Pick up all of that.
Oh, okay, and then like, I don't know, I gotta say 2 minutes later, she's got to pop back in with her face that what the hell happened to her? You know, I mean, people are getting so ugly in the UK, you can't tell which sex is which if they're white, okay? You can't. You literally can't.
Wash on the brush, and your skin might end up a little bit more pink than you want it to be. Once that's dry brush Pallid Witch Flesh over the top and build it up until you get a tone that you're happy with. I found you can be as heavy or as gentle with this as you want. It really does depend.
Okay, that's a load of horseshit. There's a smaller one. Did you notice how large that fucking was? Does anybody notice how large that brush was? Okay, I'm going to set up the big camera in a second here, but like, that thing was literally the size of like a paint pot. Let's go back to that for just a second here. No. That's not what I would use to dry brush that. That is not real. That is not fucking real. I would use a flat brush, or I'd use a size 3. I would literally use a size 3. Let's see. I have one sitting here. I have to just pull it out because I don't know what's... I have a brush that I use my brushes until the bitter end, actually. These are Zen... Okay, I would use a size 4... straight brush. I have one Zem brush, a Klonsky Sable brush that I use exclusively. These are Zem. They're cheap brushes, and yeah, this is one of them. This is like 98% of my washes, dry brush, like most of the shit that I do is done with the size 4. I would not be taking a giant makeup brush to my Tyrannid with the Pallid Flesh like that. That's not what I'd be doing. That's nobody does it this way. That's like, yeah, this is all good if you're going to paint 1 miniature a day in a month. But nobody hobbies this way. Nobody paints their fucking miniatures this way.
With this as you want. It really does depend on if you want your skin more pink toned or more white toned.
I mean, I think there was a white there where she was starting to fuck up the miniature with too big a fucking dry brush. You take your dry brush right here. I've got some splatter right here. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. You get some of it off, and then you start to hit the miniature. You start to hit the miniature at the higher points. She's just caking it on like the makeup on her face to make her look less busted. You know how much, I mean, I wonder how much spray-on tan she needed to look like Donald Trump. She's Trump maxing. Let's go back to her face here. She's Trump maxing. She's orange. Yeah, look at that. Look at how orange she is. She's Donald Trump maxing. She's Trump maxing. She's orange. Okay, let's go back to the dry brush. Now she's going to another color.
Is dry. This is going to be the color for the teeth on the nids. On the larger bugs, I will then go in and highlight it with Screaming Skull, but on a Termagaunt, the teeth...
Okay, that's bullshit. Nobody does the teeth at this phase. They finish the carapace. Finish the fucking carapace. The fuck are you doing? You should be working your way up. Teeth and claws, tooth and bone are always the last thing that I do. Tooth, bones, and eyes are the last thing that I do on any orc model. Okay? What the fuck are you doing?
Teeth are too tiny. That is the skin done, and we can move on to the carapace.
She's Trump maxing. She's Dyke maxing too.
Which is my favorite part of painting Tyrannids, because once you get that purple on there, it really starts.
No, does she look orange? Somebody tell me I'm not blind, that I can see. Yeah, they stopped showing dislikes because of Joe Biden. Joe Biden was not a duly elected president. He was selected, just like Donald Trump was selected to serve Israel. There you go. That's you're not. I have to be on full Rumble to give you the speech on that because I can get shut down and I can get my stream shut down if with just a few simple choice words about black people in Israel and how they work together to destroy white communities. There you go. Let's see here. Blue thing 3D. Whatever happened to using your antidepressant pill bottle? Oh yeah, yeah, your antidepressant pill bottle. Well, you know if she lives in the UK, what do they have in the UK? They have shitty cartoons like The Hobbit and Watershed Down. There's nothing on TV except Top Gear and reruns of Doctor Who. That rains all the time. I mean, it literally sounds like hell. It literally sounds like hell. There you go. The end. The UK is literally my allegory for hell. Welcome to the UK. We got shitty cartoons like Watership Down and No Hope. Hold on here. Historical has something to chime in there. I went to the local shopping mall for the first time in a while that I have done so, but I can confirm there are a lot of dysgenic looking people out there. Okay, yes. Yeah, it's the dysgenic people thing is getting worse. Sorry, I can't keep up with all of you today, but we got a lot of ground to cover. Thank Gork for... oh, what's up, Crown of Command? How you doing, buddy? Saving us all, literally. I'm saving you all. I haven't saved anyone yet. I'm doing some pioneering work. We're going to finish up on Katie as we A-log. We're going to start A-logging all of these content producers. Let's finish up on her video. No chin, Katie. She has no chin. She's chinless. She's Down syndrome maxing. Forgiven felon, they are diverging the species. Yes, the dysgenic people are everywhere and they're diverging. She ain't no Umi Shinonome, I'll tell you that much. Now that's just hard work. That's a real woman right there. Okay. But look at this. Like, this is the fakest thing I've ever seen. Is this staged? This has to be staged. She was a presenter at Tabletop Tactics. I thought Tabletop Tactics had to hire somebody. They had to train and hire a woman just so they could have a woman so Lawrence wouldn't lose his business license over there in the UK where everything is equal. We're dysgenic looking over there.
That's looking like a Highfleet Leviathan bug. So let's do that now. So we're going to start with matte black from Army Painter, and we're just going to put this all over the carapace. Not too concerned about coverage at this point, as this is just a base for other colors. You just want to get it all over. And while we're doing it, the red parts of the weapons do also need to be based in this black. So we'll do that. That is the claws, that is the feet, and on any melee based nids, any of the red melee weapons.
Where she's going with this shit here. Black.
Naggaroth Knight is then going to go over the top, and this is the actual base color we want. I did use
Okay, this is fake. This is 100% fake content. Nobody paints this way. Naggaroth White, wait a minute, you need a blue? Blue is one of the strongest pigment fucking colors out there. This is an unnecessary step, painting the Tyranid black to paint it blue. Who the fuck does that? And the miniature looks like shit, by the way. That's just me at this stage. Blue will cover the entire carapace, and then you can wash it. You can wash the entire goddamn thing, and it'll look indistinguishable. Here's an unnecessary step. This doesn't work. This is not real. This is slop content. Nobody paints this way. No, I'm going to paint it black before I paint it blue. Children have figured out that they don't need to do this. All right, Crown, are you watching? Are you taking notes? This has got to be the fakest thing that I've ever seen. You're one of the best painters that I've seen in a very long time. You're also a crazy person with your checkers. I confirmed for myself that those were hand-painted checkers on the goddamn shields. Oh, God, no.
Just put it over the white bone primer, but it does look so much better over a darker base, that true Leviathan color. And now we have our purple base. Let's move on to the...
You could have done purple ink first. I would have done... It's a white fucking miniature. I just would have inked it. I would have inked it. I would have done 2 coats of ink and I would have been done a lot faster than you, bish.
Xerius purple. I think I'm pronouncing that right. This is another dry brush, and I found that with this step, you just want to put it...
Wait a minute, your fake ass doesn't know the names of all the paints? I thought you hobby specialists were over there at Tabletop Tactics, well, formerly Tabletop Tactics. You probably got fired for being a fake for being a fake. You're a fake, you're a fraud, you're a phony. You're phony maxing. Okay?
All over the raised parts of that carapace. It's more effective.
Again, why is the dry brush so big? Okay, you've already got, I want you to picture this, people. The miniature is like 80% done, and you're taking a brush that is way too fucking big. It's way too fucking big, and if you have one misgiving, you mess up the white. I might have worked my way down. I might have done all the carapace first with the ink, and then highlighted the carapace and worked my way down with that stupid Carenberg Crimson that she used, and then dry brushed it. I would have dry brushed it then. I don't know. That's just me. Who paints like this? Oh, what's up, JP Grot Rockets? Give JP Grot Rockets a follow on Rumble, people. He works hard when he's out there on stream and everything. I get to watch him when I'm working sometimes. What's up, Mute Witness? How you doing, buddy? The bad weather, okay, that's a good one. The bad weather is the fundamental building block of the British character. Okay, I know that you guys in the UK want everything that they have in Australia. Sunshine, lobster, and hope. But it's just never gonna fucking happen. You sent your criminals to a better place. Now, granted, everything there will kill you. They got these gigantic black bob funnel web spiders that'll kill a black widow spider just by looking at it. Okay, nobody does it this way. That's I mean, like I'm rage baiting here.
On the bigger bugs and the newer bugs, or the newer sculpts, it just picks up any sort of texture or
this is an ass
backwards in the carapace and just gives it a little bit more depth. It looks so much better with this step. It seems so simple.
Okay, I wonder if we'll see her dry brush with this dry brush right here on the smaller details.
Such a massive difference.
Because I've only you notice how I've only seen 2 brushes. I've seen a size 0 and a gigantic. A size 2 or a size 0 and a gigantic dry brush just going in, going, and then there's like no other brushes in between.
And for the feathering, I'm going to use this Deep Violet by AK. Now this bit does require a little bit of learned skill.
Whoa, we're back to the size 0, everybody. Whoa, buddy, retard alert, you can do that exact same thing with your size 2. This is the number 1, the size 4, and the number 2, is the second size that I always fucking pick up. All right? But has anybody noticed the way that she talks? Has anybody noticed this? I mean, I hear, like, when she talks, it's literally just... Let's pause that for a second.
The thing at this stage is to figure out what position works best. So either pushing the paint away from you or pulling it towards you. I use both depending on what side of the mini I'm painting. It just feels a bit more comfortable switching it around.
We'll pause that. Let's listen. All right. Has anyone noticed that? There's a cadence to these videos. This is what it's like when you read from a teleprompter and you use Hagen, Descript, or Adobe Premiere to clean up your speech. Nobody speaks that accurate and concise of an English. And this is why the hobby is in the shitter. This is why 40K is in the shitter. Okay? This is why everything as we know it has become shit. Okay? Because nobody paints this way. I would be using a bigger brush. All right? It's like, yeah, this is good if you want to paint one Tyranid a month, I guess, and never finish the stupid fucking thing. Skip ahead a little bit.
We're going to put it all over that black base, and it's going to show up with this really, really cool red that we can then work on with the dry brush to bring it up to a nice highlight. The weapons. This is the bit that's going to bring it all together, and we just want to get that nice red pop. We're going to start things off with the Flesh Terriers Red contrast paint, which I think is genuinely the best contrast paint I've ever used. We're going to put it all over that black base, and it's going to show up with this really, really cool red that we can then work on with the dry brush to bring it up to a nice highlight.
What is she doing with the red color?
And we're going to start with Mephiston Red as our first dry brush. You want to use a light touch here because you can always build up if you want a brighter red tone.
Okay, there you go. Again, dry brush. Too fucking big for the parts that she's painting. Nobody does it that way. Nobody would ever do that way. And nobody would wash black red and then use Mephiston. Mephiston is one of the most powerful colors in the fucking arsenal there. It goes right over black. You don't even need to build it up. Now, I usually build up my red with a umber or a brown real fast, and then I'll use the Mephiston. I'll bring the Mephiston out, or I'll just spray it on through my dry brush. Let's see here. Oh, I'll get some paint thinner, and I'll use this one right here, Scorn Red from P3, which is an awesome paint, by the way. Does the same fucking job. And if but okay. Okay, there's the big dry brush again, everybody.
On your weapons, but really just play this by ear depending on how you're feeling and what you want it to look like. Because then we're then going to move on to our next dry brush, which is Wild Rider Red. So this is going to go on top of your Mephiston Red, but I will tend to do this more towards the edges of the weaponry. And it kind of makes the weapons look like they're glowing, which is cool. I'd say with smaller miniatures like this Termagant to not worry too much about the dry brushing.
How do you wrap it together, you fucking genius?
And I still probably have about 900 of these left somewhere to paint, so that is the whole scheme. And like I said at the beginning, you can...
Alright, but this is the same fucking setup. Which one was she using? Was she using that big one right there? That one right there? Fucking hey, man. Let's move on. Alright. We'll go to, we'll save this one for last because it's just a repeat. Like, I don't even know who this is. It just popped into the feed, and I'm like, okay, we'll start A-logging her too. Okay. And has anyone ever heard about Miniature Masters? What is that? Some kind of reality TV show where cucks and beta males try to make miniature painting what do you call it? A History Channel show? Is that what this is? It's like Bar Rescue, but for cucks and simps? I don't know. We'll get into that, but I've never heard of this person before. It's like a spaceship landed, and then here they come. You know? You be the judge there. Let's go to this guy, Chaos Lord Beard. He was fired! He looks like a he's caveman maxing. He can't groom himself properly. He literally looks like the caveman from the insurance commercials. It's not a good look for you. Hey, I come from Knightsbridge though. Hold on. Oh no, he's caveman maxing. Oh. Yeah, okay. He's caveman Maxine. The pictures don't lie. Here you go. We got camera 1. Oh, let me move myself a little bit more. We need to get the full effect here because we all know that the beard is Chaos Lord Beard is caveman. Hold on. He's caveman Maxine, okay? Look at this. And I wonder if they're the same damn dude. Look at the teeth. Look at the teeth. We're going over here. Uh-huh. He's caveman Maxine. He was fired because he looks like a caveman. Here you go. He looks like a caveman. I'm not wrong. The jokes are pretty much going to write themselves. He's the caveman. You didn't learn anything from Katie's fucking hobby tutorial. How many fucking videos are like that? I get sent video, if you've seen videos where they take the tiniest brush to do the wash, it's a fake video. It's slop content. It's not real. You learned absolutely nothing from that. I totally agree. Libcuck thinking. Thank you. Libcuck thinking. Forgiven felon. It took me a long time to admit she was just a piece of ass and couldn't. No, women like that are incapable of intelligent thought. They're incapable. There's someone behind these content producers. Maybe not him, but there's someone behind these content producers. It's a caveman, Fox. He's caveman Maxine. Fuck Squidmar miniatures, dude. Like, really? Miniature Masters? Okay. Really? Okay, let me just put this up here. Thank you, JP. Okay, Miniatures Masters is Squidmar reality show. The thing about the show is that the contestants are already high award winning painters if they took some high intermediate unknowns. It might interest. No, they're not going to take, they will not take an unknown. You have to understand that this whole influence sphere around miniature war gaming is literally a good old boys club. This starts with Jen Haley over there and the rest of the fucking cucks and simps and beta male. I'm going to call them the faggot brigade, okay? There you go. I'm getting dinged on YouTube. They're all in there over at Crystal Brush, and they decide, like the night before even voting begins. I learned this from Samuel Lenz. They decide the night before who wins the contest, not on Cool Mini or not, when they vote at night before Crystal Brush is given out. Jen Haley will always be seen with the winners of Crystal Brush at dinner. Okay? This is why she shouldn't be a judge. The entire thing is fucking rigged. Okay? The entire thing is fucking rigged. It should never be. So there's a good old boys club. You're not in the... And so you can go over to Andrew Looper or... God, he gives out awards to like Channel of the Year. You got Mr. It's a good old boys club that basically sets up this network of people who are allowed to make it. And they get the blessing from these like elite painters, and then they can go off and produce content. Very rarely will you see somebody who's got a lot of talent just appear. And when they do appear, they're probably approached. I don't know where. Like I've mentioned Illuminati before, but it centers around. You can say some of this stuff started back in the early days with Jen Haley and the judges of the Crystal Brush. Yeah, I've never even heard of this show, and it already just sounds disappointing. It sounds disappointing already. All right, let's see. Okay, so we're going to go back. Oh, there's the caveman. Oh, we're saving that for later. Okay. And there's the caveman. Look at the teeth. Look at the teeth. Look at the beard. Is he moonlighting as the caveman? Is the beard a paid actor? Is he a paid actor to enter the miniature sphere and make it look easy? Now, this guy doesn't produce any fucking content of merit whatsoever. I mean, it's nothing I haven't seen before, but he's just basically taking the Major Kill formula, and Major Kill is a giant fucking psyop if I have ever seen one. But let's listen to this. Notice how the music starts
We are, of course, in the early days of 11th edition, but for me, it feels like the energy levels are starting to dim a little bit already. So I wanted to have a discussion today around how the energy levels are feeling, if the excitement is indeed still there, and exactly what's going on so far with 11th edition. So where are we? As we know, and as we've experienced, Armageddon has been and Armageddon has gone. There was a huge marketing effort from Games Workshop to push 11th edition. We've had miniature reveals, a faction focus for every army in 40k, an incredible cinematic trailer which really captured the grimdark vibe of the 41st millennium. We saw interviews with the miniatures designers, the rules writers, and the background writers. We got core rules for free via a digital download, faction packs for every army, a 40k app update, and then we got a narrative campaign announced for the Siege of Deathmire, which came with the promise of more miniature reveals. So there was loads going on, a meat.
So, okay, I want you to notice the cadence of this video. It's the exact same fucking thing, except for he's not trying to paint anything. There's loads going on. All right, and I think, okay, I think what he did, he didn't just do like one script all the way through. I think what he did was he shot the video, and then he selected where he was going to talk and synced up his speech and used AI to plug in the hole. But this is just a 15-minute video about nothing.
Lead up to the 11th edition launch, and then it all just started getting a little bit quiet. The big summer preview came and went, and quite rightly, the other Games Workshop systems got a lot of the focus here, so there wasn't too much to expect around the barrage of what we received for Armageddon.
Same fucking background setup, fake as fuck.
Releases with the awesome new truck, the mech got a nice glow up, as well as a closer look at the multi-part war boss. The Siege of Deathmire brought us 3 weeks of news from the front lines, plus miniature reveals for the Space Marines and the Orcs, with the Outriders, Caius Coronius, and the multi-part boys. And later that week we were also introduced to Big Daddy Nazdreg of the Bad Moons as some extra bulky Orc reinforcement. And then it got really quiet. Almost 3 weeks went by without any news at all around 40k from Games Workshop. And you might argue that 3 weeks isn't a huge amount of time. However, historic.
I'm just noticing something here. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Is the cadence of every one of these videos off, and does it match the Charlie Brown voice? Yeah, it does. It matches the cadence of, nobody speaks that way. Nobody speaks, and I mean, and he's probably reading from a teleprompter, and like I said, he used Hagen, and there's also one called Synths, I can't say it, Synthesync, or whatever, and Premiere or Descript to enhance it. But like, dude, like, let's just let this go for another minute here.
Quickly, every single Monday on Warhammer Community, there's some kind of 40k snippet, and it feels like being this close to 11th edition, it just feels a bit odd that there's been silence through that period. We did, during this stage, get an update around the 40k rule set, which was the first big update for 11th edition, which brought lots of clarifications and adjustments for players. And then we got a glimpse of what appears to be the final Orc preview for miniatures, which was a look at the knobs and also of the Warbikers. It just feels to me like the huge momentum that was driving 11th edition and driving Armageddon and the Orcs and the Space Marines has just kind of had the brake slammed on it, when it feels like the gas pedal should be pressed deeply into the ground. I think potentially this is less to do with the lack of news, but maybe the approach games.
What I want to know is, how did this video get 3,000 likes? I know that he was on Tabletop Tactics for 11 fucking years before going solo or being fired or whatever. And I just want to know what is this even for? Who listens to this? Who is the exact recipient? Who are the recipients? Who are the audience that would give this 3K views, 3K likes, by the way? Who would listen to this? 15 minutes of nothing. He hasn't said one fucking thing. You think he might be some kind of industry insider with some insight and everything like that, but it's just fucking filler. I mean, what is this even for? What is this even about? This is all Major Kill does. What's everybody up to? What are the Space Marines doing? I'm going to keep talking and talking and talking. It's like, where do these, are they working? Are some of these content creators working with writers somewhere to make this slop content? Slop content alert. He's slop maxing. There you go. Oh, Northern Exile. Yeah. I don't know who writes into his show. I like it when he gets these fake letters that say, "I'm a girl in the hobby, and there's a guy in my group that I just don't know how to fucking talk to, and the thought of him bidding with another woman doesn't click with me at all." No, fuck, dude. Northern Exile. You know, it's like, do you have to work for Games Workshop directly and have been a manager of a store, and then you get the blessing, and then you can make a YouTube channel where all you have to do is literally just... It's indistinguishable. They're aliens, people. These are not real people. They're not like you and me. Oh, yep, here we go. Thank you again, JP Grot Rockets. We'll pin that at the top. His editing is too slick and fake. Enthusiasm is really off-putting. No shit, man. You said it all right there. His editing is too slick, and that fake enthusiasm is really off-putting. Yeah, it's not... None of this is good. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up with you guys as best I can. That's another good one. You bring up another one. 3 weeks without Games Workshop news? You mean it's just like it was 1990 to 2008? Absolutely. Yeah. You used to work at a Games Workshop store. Congratulations. You were a cashier? Wow. Oh my God, you were a cashier. My first job was working in a hobby store when I think I was 15 years old. I went to the mall, got a job at Hammond Toys. Don't look for it because it's not even there. And everybody, they taught me how to run the store for 1 week. For 1 fucking week. And then everybody went on vacation and I ran the store for 2 fucking weeks. There was a couple days where I was late because I was drinking as a teenager when I shouldn't have. And I ran to the mall full speed. Like sprinted to the mall to like get there and open up. And like, guess what? It was 10 p.m. and there was nobody in the mall except old people going for their walk. But I was supposed to be there at 9 to open the store. I gave no shits. And then when they got back after everybody went on vacation for 2 weeks, they fired me. There you go. I guess I should have. I guess I should have a larger following because I worked in a hobby store once. They sold Games Workshop products, but that guy had a smarter way of doing it. When he said, when I've had some of this shit on my shelf for like a year, what I'll do is he would have like one shelf of shit that he just painted at random for people's Dungeons and Dragons encounters, and he would paint these miniatures and they would cost like $15. Like, here's an orc, here's a skeleton, and he would shuck open the packages and just sell them as individuals, which you're not supposed to do, but that's how he mitigated it. I mean, the guy who owned it wasn't lazy, but he was a piece of shit. He was inheriting this store from his wife's father, who literally was like older than dirt back then, you know, but like, he would shuck open the boxes, build the models, and then sell them for like $15 as individuals as painted. And he wasn't a terrible painter either. And then that's how he would get rid of it. Or he would just shuck them open and then sell them as individuals built. There you go. Because that's how he would get back his loss after like the shit's been on the shelf for a year. I've got to get rid of it, you know. And so I think his wife would come in and buy the shit and then give it back to him. Oh, here we go. I have watched almost all of his videos. He acts like he is controversial, but only goes as far as safe. No, you have to be rated G for Google. Always rated G. You can never be anything else but rated fucking G, okay? This video gives you absolutely nothing in terms of... what's the direction here in terms of knowing anything new about the hobby? Does anybody even care that much? Like, up to the minute? Like, where's the hype gone? What kind of video is this? Who is this for? I'm asking you as the real gamers, who is this slop content even for? Are there paid autists in his audience? I don't know. Are there kids with autism that sit around and they have absolutely nothing better to do? I don't know. I don't know. Let's go back, finish this. We're going to finish up on him in a minute here. Let's just skip forward a little bit, just a little bit, and listen to more.
Boss, excellent. New war bikers, yes! But they seem to be monopose with no war gear options, which is a bit of a shame. The new truck is a brilliant update to the range and replaces a really old kit with a genuinely exciting new update. The multi-part war boss is another fantastic new character.
Here's the thing I heard about the new truck. The new truck is going to cost north of $75, I think. I think they've done a price increase. We can talk about that next week. The Games Workshop price increases. And I think the new kit, the new truck, is actually going to be north of $70. They're going to make you pay to play Orcs and Marines now,
which can fit into any orc army. But where are the Mega Knobs to join Nazdreg? Or the Mega Armor Warboss that came out in 2021? Where are the Storm Boys, or the Looters for that matter? And why did they decide...
Here's what I don't get. They come out with a fuck ton of orcs in 2021. I think that was like the end of 9th edition. Fuck ton of orcs. I refreshed my entire fucking army, and here they are 4 years later, essentially, with new models that they want you to buy. Brand new fucking models that they want you to buy. That makes absolutely no sense. I mean, you go back to the 3rd edition plastic orc box that we had forever. That was fine. That would have worked forever. Now, I can understand you get a refresh on some of these kits that were pewter, like the Burner Boys, the Ludas, the Tank Busters and everything, which Burner Boys and Ludas are out. They're no longer playable. They're not in the army anymore, you know, so there's that. And they could be coming as Kill Team. I don't know.
To make 36 new boys across the range. 36 boys? That? 36? Why? They did 20 for Armageddon, they've done 10 in the new multi-part box, 5 in the 40k introductory set, and one extra one to be a store-exclusive miniature as well. 36. Now 20 of the boys were on the sprue with Gretchen in the Armageddon box, so you couldn't necessarily resell those as a separate product. And they also didn't have any of the special weapons either, which is a bit of a shame. So that was necessary to a degree, but we only got new boys in 2021. Again, granted, they were monopose and they weren't multi-part, but when you combine those 10 boys that we got in 2021, that's 46 boys that were sculpted by the Games Workshop design team in 5 years. 46. And why didn't they just put some of that into a different unit? Like three meganobs. Just do 43 boys. Give us 3 meganobs. Meanwhile,
he's begging for meganobs like a whore on his back begging for money, I guess. I don't know. He's whore maxing. He's meganobs begging. Anyway, yeah, we're going to start following this. Let me go over here real quick to his... Well, let me get myself up for just a second while I make my transition. I think I already have him queued up, but let me see. There he is. He's got the blue check mark, of course. He's got the blue check mark, of course. Here we go. Oh, no! Oh, he's caveman maxing even harder. Oh, look at this one. Oh, no, he's old. He's older than me, and I'm older than dirt.
Every Monday with some kind of news, whether that's new models or new updates, but they've been weirdly quiet now for over a couple of weeks. Updates on the orcs seem to have...
And now notice this background too. It's like the same. Very sanitized, very fucking clean. You got the Games Workshop pots there in the right place. Like let's just... Can we go back to this? Let me go back to this. I want to go back into this real quick.
What's going on with 40k? Normally we get an update from...
Look at this. Whose desk looks like this? It's like he stepped in. It's like a spaceship landed and he's there. And he's old. He has to wear glasses. He's a four-eyed, bug-eyed creep. He's creep maxing. He's giving me the creeps. I don't even know if these tattoos are real. They could be stick-ons. None of this seems organic. Look at this. This is not what somebody's hobby room looks like. Nobody's fucking desk looks this way. I got to go get my fucking battery because I thought this had half a charge, and it doesn't. I have one battery that only lasts. You see, I'm not getting the big Patreon dollars. I got one battery here that usually holds half of what the other one has. I have like a load battery. I don't know. I have a battery issue. The trolls are going to get me because I don't have proper tech set up. It looks like shit over here. If you want to see what a hobby desk actually looks like, what somebody's desk actually looks like, let's just go over here to this one real quick. Let me plug this in. Let me cobble this together. There we go. Where am I? There we go. Okay, we are live, people. Let's just need to move up a little bit here. There, right there. Okay, let's pan that around. Let's get that out of the way. We'll make myself a little bit tinier. Okay. This is my hobby desk. Notice how chaotic looking it is. It is not clean whatsoever. Oh, wait a minute. There's an obligatory marker. There's my dry brush from AK, which is very stiff, by the way, but that's okay. I can always buy another one. But when I was going, I'll go back real quick and we'll just segue into the brushes. These two pieces of shit brushes are what I've been using for like the entire goddamn year. It's very hard for me to part with a brush. I just parted with one. I don't want to throw this one away because sometimes I need a smaller dry brush. Okay? But I have replacement brushes for these at any given time. This is my size 3. This is my size 4. This is what 98% of the work, of the handwork gets done. This guy right here, this little 2 with the hook at the very end of it, this is what does teeth. This is what does eyes on orcs. Okay? Let me demonstrate something here, okay? I got this gigantic fucking tray of boys right here. Okay? These guys are all done. There's 23 of them all together. And you can tell that they were all kind of painted at the same fucking time. They weren't painted as individuals. And then I thought this guy would be kind of fun in like the spirit of Crown of Command and Johnny Watson Wargaming out there. I would do one with a classic miniature with a green base and static grass. It should be flock. A real man used flock. Just so you know I'm not lying, there's 21, 22, 23. 23 orcs. 23 biggins with double hand weapons going log. Okay? And then I got other projects over here. I've got some ships. I've got Wally Gator. I'm just going to grab these guys now. Capital demand of the week right here. These fucking Terminators. Okay? I've got the way that I've done these guys over here. There you go. This is going to be a real quick project. Get these two off my table. I'm going to clear the table because I have a shit ton of War Master shit upstairs, and that's all I'm going to be concerned with. I've got 10 stands of War Master that I'm going to paint. I've got a fuck ton of popsicle sticks up top. But notice this. This is chaotic. This is very well used, very well lived in. There's paint splattered everywhere. Nothing about this is clean. I see he's got a little bit of paint on there, but look at how fucking sanitized it is in the background. He's got just a little bit of paint everywhere. He's not committed to what, he's not fully committing to one brand. Most painters are most of the real painters are either on Vallejo Air or they're switching to Army Painter. I don't see any Army Painter back there. I see AK. Okay. I don't know. Let's listen to this real quick. Okay.
Games Workshop every Monday with some kind of news, whether that's new models or new updates, but they've been weirdly quiet now for over a couple of weeks. Updates on the Orcs seem to have dried up. Nothing about Space Marines for ages. We don't know any details about the Space Marine Codex. We don't know when the Orcs Codex is going to drop. It's all got a bit weird and quiet, isn't it? But what does it mean? Unexpected delays, perhaps? Is the new factory not working as they were expecting? Feels like all the momentum from the launch of 11th edition is just sort of dissolving a bit. So why so quiet all of a sudden? What's going on? A little bit weird, isn't it? What's going on with 40?
What was that video even about? Can somebody tell me what that was even about? Is it just content for the sake of content? You know, I have no idea. Somebody explain this to me. Again, some of these content creators, it's like a spaceship landed, and they're not even fucking real. If you go into this guy's, this isn't a good look. There's a reason I never take my shirt off. When you reach a certain age, guys, you got to keep your shirt on, okay? You don't want to confuse the children out there, okay? This is not a good look. This is when he's just regularly walking around. I'm British, and then he's sucking in. Okay, I don't know what was this about. You know, Personal progress in April. If this guy looks like he's never struggled with weight loss in his life because the food is better in Europe, call me when you've been in America for 6 weeks and you blow up like a balloon, okay? Because you ate something that had hydrogenated soybean oil in it. There's a reason I never take my shirt off. Somebody'd have to pay me a lot of money because I don't want to be old man maxing. Oh no! He's Norwooded! He's even worse off than I am! That's not a good look, buddy. It's not a good look. It's another, oh yeah, there's this guy. This guy gives me the creeps. You know, this guy right here, I've seen him. I don't know. I know he works for like Tabletop Wargame, but oh God, what? Never mind. My gaze is focused right here. What the fuck happened to her? She's white in this picture. Is she white maxing in this picture? I don't know. Somebody explain it to me because she was orange in the last photo. And then soy face. I don't know. Do they not have, you know, Blaine said it best. Bunch of slack-jawed faggots around here. This stuff will turn you into a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. Just like me. There you go. I don't know. This is not a good look. While we're on the subject of Instagram, we'll just go over to here. You know, this is becoming a trend right here. Every now and then a woman will pose with a miniature she probably didn't paint. And if she did paint it, good for you. You painted a miniature somewhat well to harvest OnlyFans dollars. You know who I don't see on OnlyFans? I don't know if she does. Let me see here. I'm gonna make a quick silent search for something. You know, there we go. Let me do a quick silent search. I need to know something for my own soul here. Okay. For the most part, she doesn't have one, and God bless her for not having one, you know, because a real woman doesn't need one. A real woman doesn't need one. Let me just double check. I'm double checking because if they got to her too. Okay. All right. To my knowledge, I don't think she's harvesting money that way, but we'll go unnamed. All right, there's a few of them that don't need to do this, but like, yeah, you go to right here, and this is becoming a very prevalent problem. So if you see cosplay women, if you see women holding miniatures, don't send them money. For the love of God, do not say hi. Do not send them money. Do not give them any attention, because you go right here, you click the fucking link. Premium content. Notice how that one shakes immediately. Premium content. That one doesn't shake. That one shakes. That means she's getting cracked open on a couch by 6 black guys. All right, don't send any money. This kind of shit is becoming way too prevalent in the hobby itself. Just women who are harvesting any simp dollary they can from anywhere. So that's all I had to say about that one. I'm going to close 2 windows. We'll do one more.
I'm absolutely loving painting again, especially since I started on my new project, which is focusing on my 40k orcs. Picking up the Armageddon box has given me all of the orcs that I need, and they've got a decent amount of variety there, which means I can work through them without getting burnt out. Aside from painting,
everybody notice that they're always like sticking the pieces together, but not sticking the pieces together. Like, oh, look, I've got this one painted orc. Were some of these miniatures just handed to him to do a video? He does a video real quick, and then he's like, oh, look at my sanitized environment. Where, I mean, like, I keep my building, like most hobbyists, they have a different table where they assemble their shit. They have a different table when they paint. That's just me. I do not, I'm blessed enough that I can have two places. I have a table over there if I wanted to build, but I kind of use that as a prep table for when everybody comes in for games. But it's just like, it's weird the way they set these shots up. It's like, here's the smallest brush, painting way too big of a model where you're never going to get shit done. And then...
I absolutely love kit bashing and converting miniatures. And in fact, I spend a decent amount of time making conversions and kit bash miniatures for my clients over on the Demon Forge. Link in the bio. And Games Workshop kindly presented an interesting opportunity in their big summer preview. They showed off a part of the new Orc Boys datasheet, and it is crammed full of war gear options for both the boys and the boss knobs, which is awesome. But none of those options are in the Armageddon box. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to do a little bit of kit bashing, and also gives me a chance to practice my goth scheme as I relearn how to paint.
You never learned how to paint? You were at Tabletop Tactics for 11 years. What were you doing over there the entire time? Gooning like the caveman that you are? You know, none of what he said just makes sense. Has anyone noticed this? Am I the only one noticing this? All right. And again, he's got that, every video that these people make, it's literally just... Okay. All right, we got one more we're gonna do. We should have two more. Maybe we'll say, maybe we'll save. We'll go back into YouTube. Maybe we'll save this one for later. We'll save this one for later. We'll go into a different one. This is like the worst offender of them all. And this one makes me want to vomit my testicles out through my mouth, because she worked for Games Workshop, and I think she still works for Games Workshop. Maybe she was the one who got fired for good. And unlike Katie and the Beard, who are working for Games Workshop underneath the table to make slop content for the Soy Boys, maybe that's how this grift works. I don't know. But we'll go into this, and we'll just listen. 25-minute video.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my little hobby channel where
Where did she get those paint pots? Right there in the background. That's completely fucking fake. The set looks like it's from Temu. She's Temu maxing.
I'm once again trying to soft launch my miniature painting / time team career. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then let me catch you up real quick on what we've been doing recently, because it's super fun and I think you will like it a lot, because I like it a lot and you and me, we're buds. We're tight. In my last...
We are not friends. What the fuck is wrong with her? She's clown maxing. Look at her paint. This looks like it's AI generated. She's not even there. She's clown maxing. There you go. She looks like Mimi Bobek. Hold on. Look at the makeup. This is Mimi Bobek from the Drew Carey Show. We're going to go over here. She's clown maxing. There you go. Whoa, buddy. This is not a good look. And this literally looks super. This is like green screen. Is this a place in England? It might be. I mean, it looks shitty enough. You got that little cobble street that winds its way there that was probably made by a goat 1 million years ago. And when Hitler blew it up, you built it back the way it was, you dumbasses. You could have had large streets that you could have U-turned dump trucks on and stuff like that. No, but instead you built it back to look just as shitty as it was back when the Romans ran your ass. This is not real. This is not happening. This is not... Somebody help me. Oh, God bless you, Crown. I will never ever make videos like these. It's very attractive. I don't know. Some like between her and Katie, both are kind of like a downgrade. I'd rather just use my hand. I'd rather my penis just stay untouched because they probably have HPV or something like that because there's a lot of abortions, but there's no condoms in the UK. There you go. I don't know. She woke up at Games Workshop one day and said, oh, they're going to use me to make videos, and then I can go and make my own videos and harvest simp dollars. That was a big thing. Like back in the day, there was a channel called E3 or whatever, or Tech TV, and one of the stipulations in about 2007 was they made them all sign contracts saying they couldn't go over to YouTube and make content. You were not allowed to go to YouTube, and this is why Angry Video Game Nerd took off and everything. And then when they bring back E3, they don't bring in Angry Video Game Nerd to be a host. They bring back Adam Sessler and some angry lesbian who hates video gamers. Oh no, am I LARPing too? Is the disease infectious? No, it's completely inorganic. None of this is real. Plus, she's probably older than me, and I'm older than dirt.
Last video on this topic, I travelled across the UK to meet a very special and strangely familiar miniature which kinda went viral in the Warhammer community for looking just like, well, a classic 28mm scale Warhammer miniature from the 1980s. Except the big old plot twist here is that this little guy is actually nearly 2,000 years old and was found nestled amongst some other fittingly scaled miniatures in an ancient Roman British burial site. And to my and all of your delight too, it seems, the miniature turned out to be a tiny little
So it's a tiny little depiction of Cupid. This whole video is about a tiny little fucking Cupid miniature that she had. And it goes absolutely nowhere. It goes absolutely nowhere after this. But again, notice the cadence of the fucking video. Maybe I'm fucking crazy, like that movie where Jim Carrey goes crazy about a number or something, but this is what I hear when these people talk. This is it. When you AI Slop max your fucking videos, you sound like that. So she gets this little Cupid, okay? Then you skip ahead, and of course at some point she has to show herself in the video.
Along with it being like 20 billion.
Oh my God, look at those bags under her eyes. She's tired. She's tired, Maxine. I'm going to have to talk about these bags under her eyes every day of my life. That's probably why she's looking like Mimi Bobek. At least you knew where you stood with Mimi Bobek. She was an angry, ugly chick. At least she was a human being, you know? She was a parody. I don't even know. I just know that she was hilarious.
Degrees Celsius inside the museum. They
don't have AC over there. She was hot, and that's why the makeup was running under her eye sockets to make them look like she had even bigger tired bags. Good. They have no AC. They're too stupid to invent the AC.
Roman section just so happened to be closed for the day.
Okay, if the Roman section is closed, then why are you in the Roman section? That looks like the Roman section. I don't know. Okay, just going on. So she goes to the museum. Go in here.
to make miniatures kind of way, and these little farm animals especially absolutely stole my heart. But anyways, for this project in particular, one of the key things which I took away.
So notice how the narration goes to her footage being edited in, and then so it's like, okay, what I think what they do a lot of times is that they'll film themselves at their fucking fake desk setup and everything, their sanitized environment, saying everything, and then they'll give a narration version and they'll splice it in, and they'll use, again, Hagen or Descript or Adobe Premiere to get rid of the speech impediments and everything like that and clean up the video, and it's just all the way through, walk, 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 walk. It never fucking stops. You know, it never fucking stops, like those bags under her eyes. She's tired. She's tired, Maxine, but...
away from looking at hundreds of ancient Roman figurines was the...
But again, every now and then you have to show yourself, otherwise you'll get demoted in the algorithm for AI slop content. So you need to be partially AI, but not AI.
Very distinct sort of sculpting style which they had at the time, especially around the figurine's face and eye details. I found that unless the piece was particularly well sculpted and detailed, the eyes generally have this almost flat and lidless look to them, with the nose also being relatively flat between the eyes and generally curving straight down as well, in quite a simple style. But the hair is usually quite detailed, and it seemed that they had a preference for sculpting these well, including, of course, a cute little butt. Once the sketch was all polished...
She's butt maxing! She's packing the fudge! And then she goes in to learn how to make Roman style
muted earthy
paint.
colors to paint with is actually a bit of a myth. And actually, apart from maybe some wild fluorescent colors and the like, the ancient Romans would have had access to a huge array of colors to paint with. Of course, if they were wealthy enough to afford the pigments. Fortunately though, for us miniature painters in 2026, paints are a little bit more affordable and generally easier to come by. But either way, and for the sake of, I guess, historical accuracy, I did decide to somewhat limit my selection of paints by picking some colors which I had either seen used on artifacts or I had made myself during my little demonstration. So of course, all of the muted, clay-toned, reddy ochres and browns were definitely on the table, but also some really bright and saturated colors too, like ultramarine, which could have been easily made from crushed lapis lazuli, and some brighter yellows and greens, which you can see.
Oh, God, okay. So all of this bullshit, let me see, there's the figure. All of this bullshit for her to paint some extremely shitty 3D printed reproduction of the Cupid artifact that they found, okay? And let's skip ahead here.
Cupid's eyes in that very recognizably flat and vacantly staring sort of classical way. I gave him some beautiful long eyelashes, which I think really make him look almost like the...
God damn it. She has to blur it out for YouTube. It doesn't count. It's a statue. There you go. It's got to be rated G for Google. She can't bear to look at it. She got the little leaf there. It wasn't there in one edit, which the fact that she put it there later, it's just like, you've already failed. Like it's Cupid. Nobody can.
Style of an ancient theatre mask or something like that. I really like it a lot, and I think it adds a lot of whimsical and historical flair to the Mini too. And speaking of which, considering that this miniature is an approximation of something sculpted 1,800 years ago, which was never intended to be a miniature, he was painting up an absolute treat. His little curly hair detail.
You know, the funny thing is, with the way they shoot this and everything, this could be literally anyone painting the fucking figure. This could literally be just another chick who actually knows how to paint and everything like that, painting this miniature for her, because you don't know whose hands those are. You don't know. They could be hers. We don't know. But overall, the difficulty of something like this is like, it's in the toilet. It's like, I could do this on a day off.
Tails were super fun to highlight and define, and his wings, which were mostly identical to his original sculpt, were great as well. And yeah, everything was painting up and looking just like a real miniature, so mission complete there, I guess. I decided to round off the little guy by adding
I painted the shittiest miniature ever 3D printed by a 3D printer and made a 25-minute video about it where it sounds like this the entire goddamn time. I'm not lying. This is literally where the hobby's gone. This is why the hobby's in the toilet. This is why Games Workshop's in the toilet, because we didn't gatekeep. We didn't gatekeep at all. And it's literally like a spaceship just landed in there here, and they have like, you know, like, again, I don't think that this count is real. I think that she's botting. At 244K, I'm just supposed to believe that you have as many subscribers as Miniature Wargaming or Tabletop Tactics or Squidmar just by yourself. Like, we don't count Squidmar. That's a psyop. It's a psyop, people. They're not human. It's just British. They're not human. It's not like they're human. No, only the migrants in Britain are human. Only the migrants in Britain are human. I think she's Scottish. Oh, that makes me hate her even more. Oh, no. Oh, no. You don't want to be one of those damned evil, misty jocks. Oh, no. Listen to me. That's like the best insult. You call him a misty jock, and then you get accused of racism, and then you have to explain it. Listen to me. I am not racist towards the Scotch people. I love Lulu on, and if Taggart's on, I'll tape it. But as a content creator, I am. They are her hands. I know that she does have some skill as a painter. I just don't know how much. I don't know how much of this shit is faked because I've demonstrated a lot of this weird sanitized nonsense today. And we'll be going into this deeper from time to time. You know, I'll put up a poll vote once in a while. I think I know how to do that on YouTube. I'll put up a poll vote once in a while, and then we'll vote on which one we're going to A-log once a month or something like that. She's Irish? Oh, no. All right, so here's a good one. She did paint for GW when she worked there, supposedly. I know she worked for GW, and like, okay, with the exception of Duncan Rhodes, how much of this is fake? I mean, because I know Duncan Rhodes was real. I know he was real, but they even did the same kind of edited setup bullshit with him. We're going to do this, and I got the tiniest little brush there, and okay, we're done, you know. Like, Duncan Rhodes does have, he has a decent tutorial on, like, how to paint a Bretonian. It's more believable than the shit that we've seen. It's way more believable. Wait a minute. How can you name your channel Jugs but be an ultra lefty? It was similar to a situation for me. Oh, you must be talking to someone else. I don't even know what channel you're talking about. Here we go. I had to stop listening to that podcast because she will not shut the fuck about her political views. Oh no! Anybody who works at Games Workshop, I'm surprised they haven't brought back Thomas Purin. Anybody who works at Games Workshop is a fucking up the butt, let me suck African migrant cock leftist. There you go. let me be as pro-Pakistani as I can be, and everybody's racist against Pakistanis and Indians. And no, they're pro-Indian. They're the absolute epitome of communist. That's all you have in the UK. You have hard line socialism and communism. Those are your choices of government. Okay, we've got 2 confirmations that she is Scottish, and this is the weird thing, it's like, let's just keep going for a second here.
Little ancient modern fusion details, like a little bit of free-handed patterning on his bow, which resembles some of the iconic patterns featured on things like ancient Roman vases. And of course, I finished him off by painting his new pre-slaughter base a lovely goblin green shade to liken him back to his 1980s to 1990s future Warhammer brethren, and really seal the deal that this Cupid.
And this is what I don't get. Why would you stipple the base like that? You can get the same effect with a size 4. With just barely minimal effort after you wipe it off on your fucking paper towel right there.
Truly is the oldest of old hammer minis ever. But with him finally all painted up to the nines, let's find out if our thoroughly modern 1000...
God damn. Hold on here. Let me do something. I gotta do a search off screen here, see if I can find one. That's in there. Hold on. Oh no. Oh. Hold on, I gotta... There we go. Well, let's pull this image up and we'll put it back in there. Those are some serious eye bags. She's got serious eye bags, like the Jeremy Poopy Pants Ham Planet from the Quartering there. Oh, no. Some serious eye bags. She's tired. They're making her work against her will. But no, that's just something that I've noticed about, like, recently this week. And I don't know. I think it was Katie Plays started this off, and then I started to go through, like, then I noticed the Beard left, what do you call it, Tabletop Tactics, and they both left at the same time. And we can do. I want somebody to DM me. I want somebody to DM me about that miniature show that Squidmar is running. The best. What is it called again? Maybe I go up through there. Hold on. What is that miniature show called again? See if I can find her. No, history. No. It's not in my watch history. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay.
Cretusa has to be one of my favorite models that Games Workshop has ever created. And ever since I saw it the first time, I knew I wanted to paint it. Not only did I know I want to paint it, but I kind of knew how. I wanted this warm scheme with pinks and orange and reds. That is why in episode 3 of Miniature Masters, when we had the...
See, I've never even heard of any of these people. Episode 3 of Miniature Masters. She was selected because she's a girl, clearly. Like, has anyone ever heard that song, The Thing That Should Not Be? This is the thing that should not be, okay? But I'm going to have to do a bigger deep dive on this because it's almost like the first impression I get from this is that a spaceship landed and here she is. Here's another female painter making content, everybody. But this will be a subject for another day. Let me find last thing here. The miniature wargaming's game. Okay, so a month ago, Cornite Gaines made this video about Ravage Star. I'll let this play in the background while I find his update to this video.
Hey everyone, I'm Cornite Gaines and I'm your host. Today's topic, we are talking about an update for Ravage Star. Yes, Ravage Star. Now, Wave 1 was delivered. The minis were delivered. That's what you see on YouTube, and that is why you see any Ravage Star content is about 2 to 3 years old. You see all the reviewers, they're the ones that got their stuff in Wave 1, okay? Wave 2, this is the one what I pledged to, okay? And I gave about 300 to 350 AUD for this. And what happened was, we haven't received minis. Now this Wave 2 got a lot of money put into it by pledges. To give you an idea, there is like more than 8 zeros on that thing. And it has been 2 years. Now we were getting updates.
All right, so let me with that, you know, you've been brought up to speed. Let me go over to YouTube one more time. I'm going to go over to YouTube because I got to find his last video about Ravage Star. And I'm going to go to Mini Wargaming. Okay, we're not seeing a single video for Ravage Star at all. We're not seeing anything for that. Okay, all right, we'll let this play for a second here. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna have to give it a second here. I'm gonna have to turn off the computer audio or something like that because which one was this here? Oh, here it is.
Mini Wargaming said they would give us an update, basically saying, hey, look, your Ravage Star products will be delivered at the end of last month or the start of this month. No update, no emails, nothing. You can look at the forums, even on GameFound, where the pledges were made. Over $1 million in pledge, by the way. And also as well, this thing has been 2+ years late. Now they're saying they're only going to be delivering one wave, so there's people.
I'm intimidated just by listening to this because I can tell that this guy has enough testosterone to get angry. He's angry. You don't want this guy angry at you. He already looks like the Incredible Bulk. You have to be legally distinct from the Hulk.
Behind in the next wave. Might be another 2 years until you get your product. Or you might not even receive it at all. Mini Wargaming, in the meantime, has tried to do multiple sales of other products, with Dave also selling his Just Move Mini. And telling the truth, they should have just got the first project done. They talked about it, YouTube, it's gone 1+ years dark on Ravage Star. Okay, Dave, you put your face on one of the models. Davos, you have some accountability, mate. People are looking at taking legal action. I'm going to join those people, potentially. We just want our refunds back. Hell, even 75% of the refund would be better than nothing at the moment. This has actually, I believe, ruined your image as mini wargaming, and yeah, we can't trust you, especially if your 3D print sales, your other things and all that. We can't trust you anymore. You put your face all over this, it has gone downhill, excuse after excuse, left in the dark. People are angry, people are annoyed. A lot of people put a lot of money into this. Luckily for me, I only made one little pledge, but I'm going to be talking for these people, and I'm going to say, mate, take some accountability, get this sorted, give us our refunds back. This whole thing was not okay. Simple. Refunds.
Yeah, he makes a good point there. Simple. Refunds. So, from what I've gathered is if this game were coming out, they'd be promoting the fuck out of it. This thing would be all over their YouTube channels and everything like that. They'd be talking about it. I think that they pulled a Soda Pop Miniatures Kickstarter thing like they did back in the early 2010s there, where they disappeared something like $2 million, these two guys in Idaho, and they disappeared the money, and then it just the project never materialized. Now, the last thing I would want, now the one thing that I would pay to see is for this guy to beat the shit out of Dave, who pretends to be a fitness kind of guy and everything, and just see Dave's Canadian pasty white ass plastered up against the UFC ring somewhere as this gigantic Australian Ultimate Warrior looking guy pounds him into dust. Maybe there's a little bit of Anzac rage there. Oh, this is for Gallipoli, you pussy, you know. But you notice how there's nothing there. Let's go to Mini Wargaming Dave. Nothing. Okay, it would be at the front of his page. That's a little bit disconcerting. There is nothing. He's just talking 40K. Oh, the world's largest orc army. You notice how, has anyone ever noticed that these fucking thumbnails are all the same? They've all got their dumbass fucking picture up there with some kind of weird fucking gawky look on their goddamn faces. Is it just me? Is it just me? But I do know this. If anyone can get at Mini Wargaming, it would be Cornite Games, because he has over 100,000 followers on Instagram. Instagram is kind of where it's at in terms of like going viral and making content, which is why I'm sharing this today. I'm sorry I waited for the end of this video to do this today, but I wanted to get this out there. It's kind of like the longest stream that I've ever done. Usually I say I A-log one thing and then I go home for the day, because, you know, I mean, hey, what am I doing with my life? I've still got to finish a movie review here that's halfway written. Luckily, it's a movie I've reviewed before, because I already said that I was going to review it in October. But it would be at the forefront of his page. Who's the other guy? Jay. No, it's not Jay. I can't remember the other guy from Mini War. Dave. It's not Dan. Maybe somebody in the audience knows the other guy. No. Who's the other guy at Mini Wargaming? Does any... Okay, we don't have it. Let me Google it. So Mini Wargaming. Dave interviews a cosplayer. I just want to double check his $500,000. Oh, there he is. What's this guy's name? What is this guy's name here?
Welcome to this 20,000 point apocalypse game. We've got Hive Fleet Nihilists, the Tyranids, versus Salamanders on one side and Necrons on the other. Now, the Salamanders and Necrons are not actually allies, so we're going to talk a bit about the story behind this, as well as what we did for scenario and deployment, which is already done. Welcome to the world of Drakenfell. This is an Imperium world. Always has been an Imperium world, but really millions of years ago, it was held by another Xeno.
I know he has his own YouTube channel. I just want to double check my bases before I go out. Matt, thank you. I call him the Canadian version of Sean Gately from Blue Table Painting because they look like the exact same fucking dude. Does Matt not have a YouTube channel anymore? It doesn't look like... There. Nothing. Okay, it's all 2 years old. Yeah, Coronate is there, and anybody, you know, so what it comes down to is that they probably disappeared $2 million. They disappeared $2 million of Kickstarter money to basically pay themselves. They had already made a lot of money initially back in the early days when like these basement painters would send them free miniatures, and it was very disgusting, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves for taking free product from people and then saying all we demand is that it's tabletop quality, and then they set up a store where they sold used miniatures. There you go. It's very disgusting, and they made a lot of money doing that. You can make a lot of money in this industry when you don't have to pay for the fucking models, and then you can just sell them as secondhand models later on down the line after you repainted them or something like that. And then they started that. There was the whole resale center there. Thing that they do. Sean Gately does it and everything like that. Like, well, Blue Table's no longer a thing anymore. We can A-log that later. I don't know how worthy that would be, but the thing that I want you to take away from this is there's an angry Australian bloke out there who wants to pound these Canadians into dust. And you know what? I put up $1,000 to see that. I'd put up $1,000 just to see that, you know? Just to see one of those little pasty white bastards get their asses kicked, because I've got nothing better to do. I'd spend my money on that. But so back in the day, let's just close this out here. Soda Pop Miniatures puts out this thing for Super Dungeon Explorer, never materialized, money disappears, $2 million gone down the drain. I did a Kickstarter a long time ago before they came out with Hero Quest Revamped. The part of the company that does Avatars of War was going to do that. Never materialized, lost my money, never heard back from those people, and there you go. And then you got Mini Wargaming, who came out with a Wave 1, and they were supposed to come out with this Wave 2. Why should you play Ravage Star? They're supposed to come out with this game that they developed, and it's completely Zero Dark 30. You know, all of the content is 2 years old. You go over to his YouTube channel. They're not promoting the shit out of this. Normally, when you come out with a product, you are on every single show. You'd be talking to any YouTube channel that you could that has a following of at least 5K that does like product reviews. You'd be talking to anyone. I remember a long time ago, the people who did Wild West Exodus approached me, and I said I would demo it, but I wasn't willing to paint it. You want to send me? You want me to play it and do it? I'll do it. I'll do it for free. I'll do it for free. But I'm not going to take miniatures. I don't take miniatures to paint them and then present them because I don't have that kind of time. And even if I had, the only way I could actually do this is if I had somebody help me. Like, oh, for the next 2.5 weeks, we have to sit down and paint every miniature and learn the rules to this game, and that's all we're going to be doing for 2.5 weeks. Never going to materialize. I'm way too small for that. Like I said, I need an assistant on Sundays, but I know that's never going to happen. I need to write some movie reviews, but I can only do one thing at a time. So I'm doing the live stream today because, this has to get out, and I'm taking the channel over towards this A-log section. But usually, there would be hype around this. I would have seen advertisements bought and paid for on Instagram for this because Instagram knows that I'm into miniature wargaming and everything, and there's not a day that goes by where I don't see some stupid fucking commercial from Games Workshop. Okay, so why aren't I seeing some stupid fucking commercial from them? Because they paid for advertising. Surely they must have taken a little bit of money to pay for advertising around a new game that's supposed to be coming out, right? No. It's all Zero Dark 30 here. Guess I have to type it. Or maybe I might have to Google them. Hold on. Okay, there he is. Let's go over to Matt's Instagram page here. Nothing. A lot of nothing. Oh my God, that guy. I know him. I've seen him. He has like a channel in Canada. Nothing for Ravage Star here. Nothing to see here. Skorka Morka. As a matter of fact, I don't see any like recent activity. Some of this shit looks pretty old. No, they made a toy commercial with 40K shit. Yay! Okay. Let's see here. Okay, I'll go back to Google. Going over to Dave now. Oh. I think I blocked him because he continuously showed up in my feed and I got sick of it. Like, continuously. Like, he's, like, advertising, like, to hell and shit like that. Okay, nothing for Ravage Star. There you go. That's one thing that like, I have to, you know how many fucking e-girls I have to block? What? I had to block Belle Delphine 5 different times. I had to block Belle Delphine 5 different times because of all the slop fucking channels that she has. No, I don't care. But yeah, sometimes these people advertise and that's all you see. But there's nothing for Ravage Star there. There's that shitty miniature he made a couple of while ago. Just more shitty big games that nobody gives a fuck about. that they're famous for. I don't even know how that's a fucking thing. You know, we're going to waste 6 weeks playing a 40K game. Isn't this going to be fun? Doesn't seem fun. But yeah, nothing for Ravage Star. My advice, anybody who donated to the Ravage Star project, start pressuring these people, especially if you have a following like Cornet. If you got a following of at least 5K plus and you gave money to that project, start to pressure them. Start to make videos about it and start to pressure them. So I basically want to see mini Wargaming Dave and Matt e-bag as they've done in the past. Saying, oh, we really need you Vault members to pay up more money for us to sit here and play games that nobody actually gives a shit about in Canada. These really big games to make this giant spectacle where it's like a 6,000 point. It's a 500,000 point game. Everybody, we need you guys to step it up, so that we can keep playing and call it work, I guess. They're notorious for that. They've made so many of those e-bagging videos and everything like that. But my suggestion is to pressure them. And if you're out there in the audience, keep me updated on this, because I can continue to make videos about them failing to deliver the product as delivered, because that's unacceptable. You've taken people's money. And, you know, when like myself, like when, you know, I'm all about, you know, go ahead and make a living. However you make a living is fine. But when you take money and you're supposed to have a product at the end of the day for said money in question, and you don't deliver the product, you have wronged somebody. That's basically thievery by other means. My guess is they disappeared the money. It's never going to come out. And they're scrambling over there. Maybe, if their social medias are any indicator, it's a maybe that they're scrambling to find this money to pay back out to the people who gave into this project. So if you donated to Ravage Star, you just got to start blowing up their DMs until they make a YouTube video about it on Mini Wargaming TV or whatever the fuck they do on their websites. You know, hold them accountable. I try to hold Games Workshop accountable, and you know, it just comes off like I don't know what I'm talking about whenever I do. But you know, you need to hold these people accountable. You cannot have a product that does not exist at the end of the day. You know. All right. Oh, that's kind of good to know. You don't need a passport. If you're Australian, you don't need a passport to go to Canada. And if you're Canadian, you don't need a passport to go to Australia. There you go. And I know Mini Wargamer Dave has money. He's got money. People have given him so much over the years. And to me, he comes off as somebody who's very ungrateful. Very ungrateful. You know, if I could take a time machine to the way back of 2006 with this laptop, I could literally dominate the algorithm perpetually for 20 years as long as I just skirt the line. Like, you know what the problem is? I've given you a light solution, a Disney solution to the problem, and I keep skirting that line. I could have been as big as Alex Jones. I think a lawsuit is coming. Let's see here. Soy face is a thing that I don't know what it is. There is like when you have like in the Western world, men born in the Western world, their T levels or their testosterone levels are in the fucking gutter. Like, it's normal. Like, a guy my age should have like a T level of as athletic as I am, should have a T level closer to like 700. I do notice a significant difference between the way I looked when I moved in here and the way I look after, I mean, aside from cutting my hair all off because I got too old to pull off the long hair, it was just time to cut it off. It not only had my hair dyed, I can grow it back if I wanted to now that there's been some time, but like there's a slight change in my face now. I look a little bit darker, angrier because of boxing. And so I continued to box, you know, I had a shiner last week. A very slight shiner last week. That's kind of why that was one reason I skipped, but I did work on some projects. But that's like one direct way to get your testosterone levels to keep you producing testosterone on a regular basis. You need to be punched in the face, and you need to try to punch another man in the face for at least a good 40 minutes. You know, you got to get like 6 sparring sessions in. It's going to hurt. It's going to suck, but it's done wonders for me to like have mild injuries to recover from. And the harder your life is just a little bit, the more your glands go into producing the hormone of the gods and shit like that. What's up, Mental MJ? But yeah, so I'm going to end this out. Wow, we did a long time today. This was probably my 2 hours, not bad. So yeah, if you've taken money, Dave, you need to give the money back. Matt, you need to give the money back. If you do not have a product that is ready to be shipped, shame on you for taking people's money and doing something beforehand. And personally, these guys, they've always been in some shady enterprise ever since people started to send them stuff for free, trying to get their name out there on Facebook back in the early days as, you know, the basement. I call them the basement painters, the basement commission painters. That's a lost generation of painters that would never ever be, you know. And so, you know, and it's like I've stated once that commission painting, it's something that you arrive at. You cannot just wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a commission painter, because it's not a real job. Who are going to be your customers? Like if I wanted to do commission painting tomorrow, I have to stop all of my content production and all of my miniature painting, and I have to start marketing hardcore historical wargaming, because I know there's some people in there who would become my first customers that, like, every now and then I still get a knock on the door at Instagram from people who follow me back in my historical days that are interested in the Macedonians. And the Macedonians are not for sale, but they're interested and stuff like that. So there is that. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they disappeared the money, and we're going to have to A-log this a little bit in the future. And so if you want to clip this part of the video where I started to log about the Ravage Star game and the disappearance of the $1 million plus, please do so. Share it around the social medias. As you know, if you want to get in touch with me, I am easily available on Instagram. And if you want to leave a comment in the comment section, I will do my damnedest to come back and give you a response. I've been a little bit hit and miss for a while. I know that, and I apologize to some people who have given me comments and I didn't get back to you. I apologize. If I get some time, usually on a rainy day or something like that, if it rains and we're not working tomorrow or something, I will try to sit down and do some comments. You know, it's just gangbusters right now at work. I have some battle reports that I got to edit. We were playing fantasy galore. I played 2 games of fantasy yesterday, you know. Took my nap, drank a little beer, did some day drinking, slept like shit as usual. So on that note, I will leave you. Keep painting, keep playing, keep fighting, and stay metal, my friends. We will see you all sometime soon. And thank you. Thanks for so many people showing up on Rumble today. Thank you, really, from the bottom of my heart.